Chapter 1. The Donor and the Universal Hero Story. As fundraisers, what exactly do we have to offer donors? Their gift goes away. Even if we call it an investment, it doesn't give them any financial benefits, or at least none worth the cost of the gift. What do we offer that can compete with a cruise, a luxury car, or a bigger house? We actually do have something important. The heroic donor. Consuming more stuff is fine, but it doesn't make an inspirational story. Piling up more things is nice, but it doesn't make a meaningful journey. Spending money only on yourself is not noble. Its impact is temporary. It ends when you end. No matter what you eat, wear, drive, or own, if your life is only about your own consumption, it's ultimately pretty meaningless. No one wants an obituary that reads simply, "He made a lot of money, the end." That's where philanthropy comes in. Through philanthropy, donors can support meaningful values that transcend their own lives. They can impact others beyond themselves. They can leave a legacy that will last beyond their own lives. In short, philanthropy allows donors to be heroic. The universal hero story. The desire for heroism is universal. It expresses what psychologist Carl Jung called an archetype. This is, quote, "a spiritual goal toward which the whole nature of man strives," close quote. These universal ancient patterns are, he explained, quote, "inherited with the brain structure. Indeed, they are its psychic aspect," close quote. But it's not just the desire for heroism that is universal. The hero story itself is universal. In 1949, Professor Joseph Campbell published his famous book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. In it, he examined hero stories from across the globe. He looked at hero stories in Western cultures, Eastern cultures, and island cultures. He looked at hero stories from indigenous tribes and industrialized societies. He looked at hero stories from history and modern day. What he concluded was this: there may be 1,000 different hero stories in 1,000 different cultures, but each is just a variation of a single, underlying, primal hero story. He called this core human hero story the monomyth. This universal monomyth contains specific story elements. The hero, 1, begins in the ordinary world. 2, is faced with a challenge, the call to adventure. 3, rejects, then accepts the call and enters the new world. 4, undergoes ordeals and overcomes an enemy. 5, gains a reward or transformation. And 6, returns to the place of beginning with a gift to improve that world. How important is this hero's journey? Best-selling author and screenwriter Stephen Pressfield explains, quote, "the hero's journey arose," both Jung and Campbell speculated, "from the accumulated experience of the human race over millions of years. The hero's journey is like an operating system, or software in an operating system, that each of us receives at birth, hardwired into our psyches to help us navigate our passage through life," close quote. Humans are hardwired to communicate by story. So, too, we are hardwired to think in terms of the hero story. Pressfield explains, quote, "the hero's journey is the primal myth of the human race, the cosmic pattern that each of our lives follows, and 1,000 increments thereof, whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not," close quote. The donor's hero story. How does this connect to fundraising? Philanthropy can address the core human need for heroism. By doing so, it becomes profoundly compelling. It becomes personally transformational. This need for heroism is exactly fulfilled through the classic elements of the universal hero story. These story elements function as primal flags. They trigger a deep resonance in humans. But let's get practical. How do these elements relate to the stories behind major donations? Consider the successful entrepreneur making a major gift to her alma mater. Does she go forth from the university, graduate, to enter a new world, the business world? Yes. Does she undergo an ordeal and overcome enemies in that new world, building the business? Yes. Does she gain a reward, wealth, and personal transformation? Yes. Does she return to her place of beginning, university, with a gift to improve that original world? Yes. For example, establishing a scholarship for other women like her. Consider the cancer survivor giving back to support research and treatment. Does he face a challenge that interrupts his ordinary world? Diagnosis? Yes. Does he accept it and go forth undergoing an ordeal? Treatment? Yes. Does he gain a reward, remission, and personal transformation? Yes. Does he then return to his place of beginning, diagnosis, with a gift to improve that original world? Yes. For example, funding new research or treatment for others like him. The universal hero story can fit any charitable cause. The place of beginning might be growing up in a church, economic hardship, the love for a pet, or experiences in nature. The gift might improve the world for other believers, others in need, animals, or the environment. Our causes may differ, but the core elements still apply. And they don't apply just once. The hero's journey is not just a one-shot story. It's a continuing circular narrative in our lives. It's repeated, ongoing, and overlapping, but always relevant and always compelling. This universal journey is common to all forms of storytelling. Professor Philip Zimbardo explains, quote, Joseph Campbell's highlighting of the special journey any person takes on the path to becoming a true hero has been the heart and soul of storytelling in movies, classic drama, and literature. Spoiler alert, epic Hollywood movies. The universal hero story deserves the ultimate spoiler alert. Now that you know the elements, you also know the plot for most epic Hollywood movies. The hero might be Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, Neo in The Matrix, or Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit. But the universal hero story is the same. The hero begins in his ordinary, small, self-focused world. For example, Luke is a tattooing farm boy. Neo is a dissatisfied corporate drone. Or Bilbo is a hobbit in the Shire. The hero faces the call to adventure. For example, save Princess Leia, take the red pill, or join the expedition. The hero accepts, goes forth, and enters a new world. He undergoes an ordeal. He gains a reward or transformation. He returns with a gift to improve the world. For example, Luke destroys the Death Star. He becomes a Jedi warrior who defends against the Empire. Neo defeats Agent Smith. He becomes the one with the power to set the prisoners free. Bilbo helps defeat the goblins. He becomes the keeper of the ring with peace restored. The same story elements appear in all types of movies. The heroes can be historical women, Mulan, modern women, The Devil Wears Prada, cartoon women, Moana, lions, The Lion King, ogres, Shrek, wizards, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or superheroes, Avengers Endgame. Why does Hollywood keep reusing this same universal hero story? Because it works. The highest-grossing film franchises are all hero stories. It works because it's, quote, hardwired into our psyches. As fundraisers, it's not enough just to use a story. We need to use the right story. And the right story, although it may have 1,000 different faces, is actually the same story. It's the donor's story. It's the donor's hero story.